Hey guys, we're back with For More Standard, and very excited to kind of share with you today. I've been jamming games on my tablet on ladder here for the Orzhov Aggro life gain deck, and done tons of different permutations, and really changed the deck quite a bit here. So I kind of want to get into it. First of all, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate you, and if you do like my content, please consider subscribing. Maybe dropping a comment or a like, or sharing it with a friend of yours who might also enjoy my content. And for my returning viewers, thank you guys so much again for your support. It really does mean the world to me, and it would not be possible without you, so thank you. Okay, let's get into it here. So, some of the big changes I made is I realized that this is not really as effective a Knight-Errant of Eos deck, and so I ended up cutting the Knight-Errant of Eos. I just found that I didn't have kind of enough sort of clustering in the one drops to really get things going, and for that same reason I actually ended up cutting out the Regal Bunnicorns, which are great threats, but I just kind of wanted to get this deck even more focused on life gain if at all possible, and just kind of also build in some more inherent advantage. And so what I did is I made room for 4 copies of Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. And since we're running the full flotilla of 4 Ruin Lurker Bats and 4 Deep Cavern Bats, all with evasion, I feel like you really have to play Gix in this deck. It is such a good Gix deck because you're gaining so much life that you can really afford to draw as many cards as you want. And this is just a really great card against any kind of control or value deck. So I think the full 4 copies feels great. They will almost certainly kill it on sight, and so having another one in your hand is great. I did go down to 2 copies of Case of the Uneaten Feast. I kind of sort of monkeyed around with it a little bit and just found out that 4 was a bit too clunky, and even 3 was kind of a little bit too much, but 2 feels like a nice sweet spot, so I've settled on 2. What I found was that the Azorius mill decks and just kind of control in general has really reacted to the format and has now brought in the full play set of temporary lockdowns, which has made it much more difficult for this deck because basically this entire deck falls within that range. And so I ended up shifting out, adding in some more hand disruption. So I brought in 2 copies of Duress into the main deck, as well as some options to get rid of the lockdown once it's in play. So I've got 2 copies of Get Lost, which is also nice creature removal, but specifically can target enchantments to get all your guys back. And then March of Otherworldly Light. This is actually a card that I know that CGB mentioned in one of his videos where you can basically, against the Boros Convoke deck, which is huge on ladder right now, you can target their blood tokens or their whatever the token is that's made by the Novice Inspector, the clue tokens, for just 1 mana. So that feels really good. This also can get rid of enchantments, which is another reason why it's good in like the control matchup to get back all of your stuff after they lock down. So I feel like with 7 kind of, possibly 9, I suppose, if you have it on time, answers between Bat, Get Lost, March, and Duress, you have more of a fighting chance against control. And then I do also add 2 copies of Virtue Persistence, just because the life gain is sweet, and also it's nice removal, and also nice inevitability to get all of our stuff back against control. And then in addition, I made room for 1 copy of Gumdrop Poisoner. I started with a full play set, but I found like it was just kind of too slow and too clunky. And so I cut it all the way down to 1 just to make room for like the Virtues, which you really need against Mono Red and Boros, the Get Losts, which are just kind of versatile threats, and then like the Cut Down, March, and Duresses, which I feel like you just need more cheap answers. For the mana base, it has been completely rehauled. So we now have 23 lands, and you have 19 sources of both black and white. So with the mana breakdown, we're now at pretty close to even here, since we have all these copies of Gix, as well as the copies of Voice of the Blessed. So you want to be able to really do double white or double black. So I upped the Restless Fortress count to 3, and I think with the extra lands, this is going to be doable, as well as just having another threat against control to help gain some extra life. And then we do have, again, 1 copy of Takenuma, 1 copy of Iganjo, and then 3 basics in each of the colors. The full play set of Thran Portals, which I think are great here because you are gaining so much life, you can kind of offset. What you really want to be thinking about is, once you're gaining all this extra life, how do you turn that life into value? And so the payoffs there are like Thran Portal, fast mana on time, Gix to be able to draw as many cards as you want without worrying about it. So those types of effects. The board, I'm going to try to go through again here. It's still sort of kind of just a bit of a skeleton. Since I don't play best of 3, I just wanted to have something for you best of 3 people. But yeah, I've did quite a bit of games here on the ladder today, and this feels just a lot more lean. Having answers to stuff is super nice. And then also the Gix is so powerful. Like, this card just feels like cheating every time you play it. Okay, so all that said, let's hop into the games. Again, just want to mention, if you guys are considering playing in the best of 3 play-ins, it is going to be this Friday, and I know I'm planning to do, hopefully 2 attempts, as it would be really great to get qualified. I think Limited is super fun. I haven't had a chance to do a lot of it, but really been enjoying it. So if you guys are, I wish you guys luck and etc. Okay, yeah. So this opening hand, we've got Duress, which is nice. Yeah, I like this hand. We've got 3 land. This feels pretty good. And I think we are on the draw here, so yeah. Okay, up against Boros. So the question here is, I think we do want to go turn 1 Duress, because there's a decent chance, like, if they have Gleeful Demolition, we want to strip it from their hand right away. And I think that's better than trying to get, like, Lunarch Veteran into Voice of the Blessed going. We could pay for it, but I think there's enough of an upside there that it's worth trying for. We also might be able to hit like a War Leader's Call. Okay, so they do not have it. They've got a great hand, they just don't have Gleeful Demolition. And they drew it off the top. Oh my god, what a beating. Whew. Talk about getting punished. Okay, so now, yeah, we're in real trouble. Wow. How do we get through this? I think play here is we've got to get the fortress down. Actually, never mind. We need to get planes going so we can get our veteran out. Yeah, and I don't think Virtue is going to be enough here since it doesn't kill anything. Yeah, so that's always kind of like the decision. Like, is it better to just go like turn 1 veteran into turn 2 voice? Because then you can like start building something to, live through their nonsense. Or do you try to strip the Gleeful Demolition? Who knows? But like now they're just going to have like infinite damage and it's going to be like really, really hard to do anything here. Yes, this is pretty much just game, unfortunately. I guess to be mana efficient, well, I suppose actually doesn't matter. We could have played... Yeah, I think we just play Gix here just to be mana efficient. But yeah, this is looking pretty awkward. Yeah, and that's just going to do it, unfortunately. It's just not enough time. I guess maybe if we're in that spot again, maybe just try, instead of trying to strip the hand right away, go for the other play to try to start building. But yeah, I don't know if that would even be fast enough. All right, this hand looks good. And I typically will lead out with Veteran over Bat, just because, you know, that way we can have easy triggers. If they kill it, we can get it back from the yard. I think we just want to go Bat here. Definitely not blocking with Veteran. I think we want to go black here, just so we have access to double black. So this is going to be a nice virtue turn. I think we just want the Thran portal down just so we have access to 5 mana the next turn. This does mean that we pay a life for Get Lost, but I think it's worth it. Again, here I don't think we're blocking. Okay, if they're going to Frenzy, I'm going to Get Lost in response. Just so this doesn't go to exile. That's a nice one to keep on top. The downside here is they do get a big threat, but I think we wanted to have access to replay this here. Yeah. So I think we want to start with Veteran in case they decide to kill Voice of the Blessed on sight. The downside is we are paying 2 life to do that for that benefit, but I think it is worth it. Yeah, so it looks like they're holding some kind of removal here. They're just deciding whether to kill one of these bats. I think we just take it here, honestly. We want to try to get Voice of the Blessed up in the air. And so I think it's not worth trading with their trick. We're high enough life to just let it go. Okay, yeah, another portal which is super awkward since activating this fortress is like not even remotely possible with all these portals. Okay, so these are both trample, which is super awkward. So we can go up to 5. So I think we just attack with double bat and hold back Phantom in case we need to protect from the trample damage. I guess we do gain 2 life off of this, but we go down to 1. Although, actually, they're tapped out. No, never mind. It costs 3 life to activate it. Forget that. Okay, looks like he has the business. Yeah, I think that's enough. Actually, no, we should go to 1. So still not out of it yet. Okay, so if we attack with both, anything off the top and he just wins. I think we need to potentially just attack with, I'm gonna mute him real quick. Voice of the Blessed. Like, we can go to 2 here. I guess if they have like another monstrous rage, we're in trouble. So maybe we attack with 2 and then leave 1 blocker back. I think that's the move. Yeah, I think that's, let's see, that's going to do it here because we block here, go to 3 and take exact lethal. So maybe we should have held back this extra bat. We'd be at 1, so I don't think it actually matters here because we block here, block here, block here. We go to 3. Actually, yeah, we should have held it back. That was a mistake. Alright, so yeah, it looks like that's going to do it, unfortunately. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that final attack, so I think, yeah, hindsight, should have held back the bat. It is possible that maybe it's better to lean into more basics than having such fast mana. I guess maybe it's possible I overestimated how much extra leeway we have with our life. So you could maybe change the mana base a little bit, but it's so nice having access to fast mana. So I don't know. Okay, yeah, this hand looks good. Lead out here with Sanctum. Then I think we want double white. Although I suppose we have the cut down. And I guess it's just a matter of if we draw Gix or if we draw Voice of the Blessed. I think Gix is probably the bigger payoff card here, so maybe it's better to have an extra black. We have a lot of stuff to do with black anyways, so maybe let's go black. And then I think let's start with Deep Cavern Bat. Campus renovation. Huh. Okay, let's just take their mending. I think it's the most useful about all these cards. Haven't seen this one before. But then we can bat next turn and take their Stern Lesson. Okay, let's get going here with Amalia. We can try to start fixing our lands a little bit. Gix looks just great. Okay, that's pretty awkward. Guess we just try to rebuild. So another Wrath deck, but just using Ill-Timed Explosion instead. Standard does seem to kind of fall into board wipe decks, super aggro decks, and I guess stuff like life gain in between. We want to bat them again. Let's see, is turn less than an instant? Yeah. Oh wow, one of the Multiverse? Okay, we take the explosion. Good lord. And now they're going to use campus renovation to get back one of the Multiverse. Yeah. Definitely seems to be a pretty cool deck. Yeah, I've definitely run against like a fair amount of like Azorius control, Esper control, but have not seen Jeskai in quite some time. I think we're just going to cut down this guy, get him out of the way so we can start drawing some cards. Could get lost there, one of the Multiverse, which seems pretty good. Okay. That sounds pretty great. Super happy to be hitting land here also. I think, what do we want to cast? Maybe Case of the Uneaten Feast, get that going. Could also just go with like Ellis Core. I guess if they board wipe again next turn, I kind of want to have some of our cards still in our hand. I guess we can keep like searching with Amalia here, but I think I'm just going to go Case. Just set up a little bit, and then we're going to get lost. They're one of the Multiverse. Okay, and they had another campus renovations. They were quite ready for it. That's too bad. Good lord. Another ill-timed explosion. It's going to be a little tough to come back from this here. So now they've got another explosion there in their hand. I guess we can try to start setting up for like Virtue here in a little bit. We can't target one of the multiverse, it's too expensive for March. Oh yeah, we could definitely get rid of Brass Tunnel Grinder. I think we want to get Amalia going. Probably having a backup one is not a bad idea, actually. And they run Portal. Okay. I think this is pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's going to do it. Okay, so unfortunately we did not have a great set of games here, but I really do enjoy the deck. Let's take a quick look at the stats, how it's doing overall. All right, so we're at 68% win rate, 17 wins, 8 losses here. Again, unfortunately, all the games I play on my tablet are not captured for the data. But yeah, overall, still pretty happy with it. I think that you can do a lot with the mana base, maybe add in some more basics. The mana base is just rough, just because you don't have the fast lands. So all that said, yeah, there are definitely some tough matchups, but I think it's still a great deck. And thanks, guys, for watching. We will see you again tomorrow.